guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl B, and it has definitely been some time. I've been going through some changes, and I'm finally in a place where things are starting to calm down, come together, and just kind of get back to like a normal schedule a little bit. As you can see, I'm back at my mom's place, but by next week, I'll be like settled in. So this video is a long-awaited follow-up video to my last first impression of my professors before I started the Zicklin Information Systems program for the master's degree, and I've just wrapped up midterms, so I think I can give you guys an overall good idea of how it's going with the professors that I'm taking and how I foresee the remainder of the semester going. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. I think the first class I'll start with is business communication, only because that was a 7-week class, so it ended not last week, the week before. I know what grade I got on every assignment, and yeah. So Professor Carol Basil for business communication, which is required I think for all graduate programs. That class was actually really good. I took away so much information from that class. The professor was very kind. She provided a lot of information, but I do think it was all valuable information. She provided a lot of reference work, and she did do a lot of group work activities. Now, with her class, I personally really enjoyed it because I think I've said it before on my channel, I've struggled with communication skills, and I feel like she gave us a lot of techniques that will help in sending out emails and kind of forming it in the way that garners the response that you want. So if it's to persuade someone of something, then how to write an email to do that. If you want to kind of prompt a response, then she gave techniques for that as well. She gave the best way to format it. She gave us keys on how to present, which I think that was the best part for me. Presentation skills. With it only being a 7-week class, I took away so much. It improved my skills so much, and I'm actually implementing a lot of the techniques that she did recommend for us into my actual job. And it's so funny because there are people in my work environment who see the change, who see me actively taking initiative and actively speaking to larger groups of people, whereas before that was never the case. So Carol Basil, I definitely recommend her for business communication. The homework, we did have assignments pretty much every week, but again, it is a short class, and a lot of it was group assigned, so that helped. And it wasn't so much like writing essays or anything like that. It was literally just either sending out an email or putting together a presentation or kind of reacting to case studies. So like getting an idea of what you would do in certain situations. So I think it was pretty relative. I'm not gonna say easy, but it went along with the assignments that she did in class. So yeah, it was nothing like out of the ordinary for you to be like, oh my gosh, like, no. And I think for us, the final was definitely the ending presentation, which again, I think was really good. I think she guided us on how to format a presentation, and then, gave us the tools and watched us complete it. And based on what I've seen, everyone did pretty well. So yeah, Carol Basil is pretty good in my book. I would definitely recommend her for business communication. Okay, let's get into the next professor. Next up, let's do database management systems with Shating Wang. So database management is a good course. One thing I will say is she teaches you everything that you need to know. She'll go over with you during class and then base the homework around what activity you did in class. Now, to make sure you understand it, she'll also assign, well, she'll do the lab in class, and then she'll give you however many days to complete it. And then once you complete that, she'll also give you the homework, and with the homework you have the night before the class to submit it. And again, it's really straightforward. She gets to the gritty of what you need to do. I feel like I'm pretty up to date in what she's telling us to do. Now, what I will say is that with her teaching style is different, or not different. Her teaching style is something that I'm learning that you may not understand it when she communicates it to you, but once she runs through the examples, you're gonna be fine. You can also just follow by looking at her PowerPoint presentations, because she does supply that as well. So looking at all of those information, you could kind of follow what it is you need to do, and she's very detailed in what it is step by step that you need to do. And then once you do that, you're pretty much in good hands. I feel like okay, let me only speak for me. So I find that the class is okay. Like I said, I can keep up. I'm understanding what's going on. If I have any questions, she definitely helps me out, right? But I think that she thinks it's a lot more difficult than what it might be. And I do understand that there are some people who may be struggling with what it is you need to do. But I think a big part of understanding is asking her questions. Like any question that I have ever asked, she has answered. She's went in detail for why it may not be the case or why it would be the case, and I find it helpful. Her midterm was pretty much straight to the point. She told us what we needed to know. Not the answers, I don't mean like that, but she told us the main points of it. And I think the things that took up the most time and were worth the most grade was things like the ERD model, the normalization process, and I'm missing something else. I'm missing one other diagram that we had to do, but it pretty much, if you asked any questions or anything that you didn't understand before the midterm, once you got it, it was pretty much to the point. You kind of knew what to do. She did take off like 1 or 2 points for minor mistakes, but for me, she didn't take off anything crazy. I think I'm around the average area of the midterm. Everything that we're learning from this point on is what will be on the final, so that's okay. And we also have a group project that will be due at the end of the semester. I feel like if you are struggling, there is room for improvement, and she will, kind of guide you to help you understand better. So yeah, I think Shating Wang is a good professor if you want to take database management. Again, it could be a little tricky when you hear her going through the lecture part of the class, but once she gets to the example of working through the actual assignment, you'll get a better understanding of what it is that you need to do. So that's how I would rate Shating Wang. And I'm sorry if I'm saying her name so wrong. Okay, so next up we have Information Technology Strategy with Professor Peter Harrison, and I think he's another really good professor. The reason why I really enjoy his class is he kind of makes everything that we're learning relevant to current day news, what is going on in each industry, makes relatable so you understand exactly what it is you're learning about, systems, information systems, what different companies may implement to get competitive advantage and things like that nature. And if you're kind of thinking about starting a business or something like that, a lot of the information he gives us is definitely worth it. Even like the textbook, I'll say this, the textbook that he assigned for the class, I actually enjoy reading the textbook on its own. You don't necessarily need to you don't necessarily need to read it in order to attend his class, but it does help. And it just kind of reiterates what he goes through, and again gives you a deeper understanding and real life examples. So I do enjoy that. His midterm was another midterm that was you know, done covering everything from the first part of our class. With his class, he tells you everything that is in the textbook, everything that he gave us throughout the class, and all the resources is fair game when it comes to the midterm. Now that can be a little overwhelming. However, if you keep up with everything that you're doing in class, you pretty much are going to be on the right path. And then it also helps that it is open book. Now, open book does not mean easy, because it is, you know, you got to know where you're going to look. So I think in terms of that, you still want to stay up to game on what it is that, you know, you're learning in the class. For his class, you have 2 group presentations, one that each group completes every week. It's a different group. And then you have your final group project, which we're currently working on now. I don't have too much detail on that because we're currently working on it, and we're in the beginning stages. But yeah, I feel like there's great opportunity for you to learn in this class. You can take away so much information and actually apply it to whatever industry you're interested in working in, or if you want to go the entrepreneur route. It's a lot of information in that as well. And he is an actual entrepreneur. He did have his own business, successful at that. So yeah, I would definitely say Peter Harrison is a good professor to go ahead and take. Again, you'll just learn so much. You'll understand the material, and class is interesting. As long as you participate, that's great too. It's very interactive. So even though all these classes are online, I think business communication and the information technology strategy with Peter Harrison is definitely a good class. I again recommend him for this course. I think you will learn so much. And it's not so much of making it hard or seeing how much you can cram, but actually learning the different types of strategies that a lot of business implement and how you can apply them to any business you're interested in working on, or any industry you're interested in participating in. So I definitely recommend this class. Just to give you guys an idea of what companies we looked at travel-based company, we've looked at Airbnb, we've looked at Amazon, we've looked at fast food restaurants, we've looked at did I say like the hotel industry? We've looked at that. We've looked at right now I'm drawing blanks, but we've pretty much covered every industry thus far, and how they've been able to, you know, grow in this new age era when it comes to technology and being internet based, and how some companies kind of met the demand of their customers, and how some companies need a lot of work to, you know, compete in this day and age. So yeah, like I said, definitely check out that class if you need it for your first semester. You'll definitely learn a lot. Okay. So lastly, let's get to the last class, which I put off because I am struggling. Yeah, I'm struggling, and I'm trying to figure it out. And me personally, I don't know if this is a me issue, or if maybe a lot of people, well, I won't say that a lot of people feel this way. I feel like the class is split into 2. There are the people who get it, and then the people who don't get it. Just so you guys understand, this is cybersecurity with Professor Moore. And yeah, so if you watched my last video, the one thing I kind of raved and ranted about was the fact that there was no textbook, so it cut costs. I want to say the downside to this course is that there is no textbook. So it's hard to keep up or learn things on your own pace or find additional references to understand what is going on in the class, because a lot of it is based on his lectures, his PowerPoint presentations, and things like that. Some of them he does pre-record, so you could go ahead and go back and watch it, but for the others he don't. And I think if you miss just one class, you'll kind of be far behind, especially if it's not pre-recorded, for the simple fact that his slideshows, because he does upload the PowerPoints to Blackboard, but with that it's different. The like for me, I don't know if it's just me because I have a MacBook, but for me, when I download the PowerPoints, it comes in the Keynote kind of format, so it's not plain. You don't see the animations, you don't see what is referenced first on the slides, you just get all of it together, and you kind of have to go through it that way. So it's difficult for me to go back and watch it. Now, one thing I will say, which I think is pretty interesting in this, is that cybersecurity is probably the only class that I don't speak up as much in, and it is the class that I am doing not so well in. But a big part of that is because I just don't understand it. It's like if I don't understand it, I feel like for those who get it, it's like doing a disadvantage because he has to follow a format. But I'm not getting it. Like, and let me say this: I thought the beginning, the first 3 weeks, I think I was pretty caught up, and then just 1 week, it just went downhill. I haven't missed a class, so let me say it, like I haven't missed a class, so I don't understand why it's just not registering in my brain. But it's not. And I don't want to say it's his teaching style. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna say the fact that there is no textbook, and granted, he says that there isn't a textbook that covers in details what we need to know, but I don't like that. Like I need a textbook to be able to refer to something, to know known facts, because again, it's not to that professor, but a lot of the things or the way that I feel like we're being graded is based on what he tells us. Because for some of the assignments, there's a lot of trick questions in that where, how do I want to say this? It's a lot of trick questions in the sense that if you don't pay attention to exactly what he says, you're not gonna get it. Because again, there's no way for you to go back and look at it and say, oh, that's what this is a hard fact. It's more so, I don't want to say opinions, but that's what it feels like. So I'm struggling with it in that way. The midterm, y'all, for me personally, I didn't do that well. I didn't get to complete it. But again, that's just me. I have no cybersecurity background. So it is all very much new to me, and I just cannot get a handle on it. There are people, like I said, there's half the class who's really excelling, and then there's the other half who's trying to keep up. So yeah. I don't know. But I have about 4 weeks left. So today I actually have this class, and I think I'm going to talk to the professor about extra credit, about alternate resources, just in case, for someone like me who's struggling. And then also just, I don't know. It is, yeah, this class is taking its toll on me, and it's so funny because I feel like I wanted to do cybersecurity. I have a funny story behind that. I don't think I mentioned in my last video about how I ended up in this major and not cybersecurity, but I'll save that for another video. But yeah, Professor Moore, I think to take this class, you do some research where you kind of understand, because it is a lot of, when it comes to firewall protection and how it links, it comes to like different viruses, that I pretty much understand it. It's the hacking techniques that kind of get me yeah, maybe I'll do another video on like the list of categories or subtopics that we studied that I'm having difficulties with. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to him today and just see if there's any way that I could kind of help myself to understand better, because I don't like this feeling. So you guys, that is pretty much an update on my review of the professors that I'm taking this semester. And if you want to take them next semester, registration for Baruch opens up, I think, next week. So this just give you guys an idea of, you know, what professors to take. Again, this is just for me personally, my learning ability based on that. And yeah, I wish you good luck if you are registering for classes this next semester. And hopefully my video has helped you in picking your professors. And I just want to remind you all that all of my classes are online, so if you prefer to take a in-class course, I'm not sure if these professors have in-person classes, but on CUNY First you could search that up. So yeah, is there anything else? Yeah, I'm more than halfway through this semester, so I'll give you a final update on the professors at the end of the semester. And yeah, I'm all about transparency, so I'll probably let you guys know my grade and if it was just or yeah. So if you made it this far, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I have a lot more content covering my graduate experience, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Comment down below if there's any questions you have. For those of you who commented on my last video, I definitely appreciate it. I tried to get back to all of you. If I haven't, it's either gonna be in another video or I haven't seen it yet, but once I upload this video, I'll answer that question as well. Some people who have commented on my videos, I see that you guys are definitely interested in attending Zicklin or Baruch, or you are attending and you have some questions. Now, I don't know too much about programs outside of mine, but I'll try to help you out in that way. And just to give you an idea of what I have coming up next, it's going to be a couple more videos on my experience at CUNY or how I feel about CUNY overall. So stay tuned for that video. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day.